Question 1. Factorise x squared plus 7x plus 10. We'll be looking for two numbers to complete the brackets. The two numbers will add together to give 7 and multiply together to give 10. So they'll have a product of 10 and a sum of 7. So we'll go through the factors of 10, 1 and 10, and 2 and 5. And I think you can see that 2 and 5 are most likely to make 7 there. So we'll pick 2 and 5 for our factors to fill in the brackets with. So we'll be thinking that factorising x squared plus 7x plus 10 will be x plus 2 in one bracket and x plus 5 in the other. We'll just double check that though. Anytime we get factors, we can expand to see if we get back to the original question once we expand the brackets. So we'll split that first bracket and we'll have x outside of x plus 5 plus 2 outside of x plus 5. That'll give us in the first bracket x squared when x is times by x. Then x times 5 is 5x. 2 times x for the second bracket is 2x, and 2 times 5 is 10. The like terms there are the 5x and the 2x, they can be joined. So we get x squared plus 7x plus 10, which was our original question. So if you've got the time, you can always double check a factorising of a quadratic by expanding the brackets and see if you get back to the start. Question 2. Factorise x squared plus 7x minus 30. We'll look to have two numbers to complete the brackets. In this case, the two numbers will be adding together to give 7 and multiplying to give minus 30. So our product of our two numbers would be minus 30 and our sum is 7. Let's have a look at the factors of 30. 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10 looks like they'll be a good likely pair to create that scenario of multiplying to give minus 30 and adding together to give 7. So we'll choose x minus 3, x plus 10 there. We'd need a minus to create that minus 30. And we'll need the bigger of the two numbers to be the positive if we want them to add together to give 7 there. So that's our proposed factorising. We'll just double check by expanding again though. So if we expand that out, split that middle term, we'll have x times x plus 10 minus 3 times x plus 10. When we expand that through, we'll get x squared plus 10x. For the second part, we've got minus 3 times x for minus 3x and minus 3 times 10. We'll have to be careful with that last one. That tricks up some students, that last bit. To get minus 30 there, the like terms there are 10x minus 3x, which will create 7x from minus 30, and that'll get our original question from our expansion there. So we're safe to say that that's a correct factorising of our original question. Question 3. Factorise x squared minus 4x minus 12. Be looking to have two numbers. The two numbers in this case will add together to give minus 4 and multiply together to give minus 12. Product is minus 12, the sum is minus 4. Let's have a look at the factors of 12. See if they've got something to do with 4. We've got 1 and 12, 2 and 6. So 2 and 6 look like they'll be likely candidates there. If we have a plus 2 and a minus 6, that will add together to give minus 4. The bigger number there has a minus next to it, and we want the sum to end up being a minus, so that makes sense. And so that's our proposed factorising there. Let's check it out by double check by expanding. If we expand that bracket and split that first term, that first bracket there, we have x outside of x minus 6 plus 2 outside of x minus 6. X times x makes x squared, x times minus 6 makes minus 6x. For the second bracket, we've got a plus 2 timesing by an x for plus 2x, and a plus 2 timesing by a minus 6. Plus times a minus makes a minus, so we get minus 12 there. The like terms there are the x's for the middle section, so we'll just simplify that. Minus 6 on the number line, plus 2 jumps to the right there, makes minus 4x, minus 12, which was our original question, so we're confident with our answer there. Question 4. Factorise x squared minus 7x plus 12. Our two numbers that we're looking for to complete the brackets will add together to give minus 7 and multiply together to give 12. They'll have a product of 12 and a sum of minus 7. So the factors of 12 that have got something to do with 7 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, and I think 3 and 4 are likely. So if we have both 4 and the 3 as a minus, that will add together to give minus 7 on the number line. Minus 4 minus another 3, that'll be down at minus 7 on the number line. And a minus times a minus will make a plus, so I'm pretty confident with that one. For when we multiply minus 4 times minus 3 will make positive 12. So I like the look of that, but let's just double check by expanding and see if we get back to the question. If we split that first bracket, we'll have x outside of x minus 3, minus 4 outside of x minus 3. We'll have to be careful of that second half there, seeing it's got a minus in front of that second chunk. X times x for that first bracket is x squared, x times minus 3 is minus 3x. Minus 4 times x for the second bracket there is minus 4x, and this one we'll have to be careful with. Minus 4 times the minus 3 makes a positive 12. The like terms there, we've got minus 3x and minus another 4x for that middle section, making minus 7x, plus 12 was the original question we were asked to factorise. So we're confident that x minus 4, x minus 3 is the factorisation there. Factorise, question 5, factorise by first taking out a common factor in 2x squared minus 2x minus 4. If we take a 2 out of here, first we take out a common factor of 2 out of each term there. So we'll have 2 outside of, we'll ask ourselves, what are we going to multiply 2 by to get 2x squared? So for that first section of the brackets, we'll need an x squared in there. Then we'll ask ourselves again, what have we got to multiply 2 by to get minus 2x? We'll need a minus x. What have we got to multiply 2 by to get minus 4? We'll need a minus 2 in the bracket. So we're just taking out a common factor of 2 there to simplify things. And then we're looking for two numbers. We'll keep that 2 out the front there, up our sleeve, and we'll just pretend the question just says factorise x squared minus x minus 2. We'll just factorise the brackets now. Into two brackets, we look for two numbers that add together to give minus 1, because there's an invisible 1 in front of the x there, and multiply together to give minus 2. Our product will be minus 2, our sum will be minus 1. Now factors of 2, there aren't that many, there's only 2 of them. 2 is a sort of a prime number there. So 1 and 2 will have to be our factors, but it's just a matter of getting the right minus or plus next to them. So if we choose, we've got to remember the 2's out the front, but if we choose a plus 1 and a minus 2, we'll get the required outcomes there. They'll add together to give minus 1 and multiply together to give minus 2. So that's our proposed factorising there with the 2 out the front that we took out at the very start. Let's expand and double check though. If we expand this, we'll split that first bracket and we'll have the 2 out the front to begin with, but when we expand that first bracket, split that first bracket, we'll have the x outside of x minus 2 plus 1 outside of x minus 2 in that square bracket. As we expand further, we'll have a 2 out the front still. X times x is x squared. X times minus 2 is minus 2x. For the second part of the bracket expansion there, we have plus 1x, which isn't too hard. And 1 times minus 2 is just minus 2. So the like terms there in the middle of the square brackets are the 2x's. We've got minus 2x plus an invisible 1x. So minus 2 plus 1 there is minus x, or minus 1x. Minus another 2, and that was our original question, was it? Well, it was once we factorized the 2 out, that was the original question. But if we expanded the 2 through, we see that we get back to the very original question of 2x squared minus 2x minus 4. So that's a good double check if you've got the time to do it. Expand and see if you get back to the question. Question 6. Factorize 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. The two numbers we'll be looking for the brackets will be adding together to give 7, and in this case, because we've got a 2 out the front there, they'll multiply together to give 6. How we get that 6 is to multiply the very front 2 by that final 3 there. 2 times 3 gives 6. So we've got to adjust our thinking for what the two numbers will multiply to give here once we've got a number at the front of this quadratic expression. So we'll have a product of 6 and a sum of 7. Let's see what factors of 6 have something to do with 7. I think we've stumbled across it straight away. 1 and 6 will work nicely. We have to do something special here. What we've got to do is, well, what my method is to split that middle term. Let's concentrate on that 7x that's in the middle of the expression, and we're going to break it up into 1x and 6x. I'm going to put the 6x first here. So what we're going to do is split the middle term. There are other ways of doing this, but I'm splitting the middle term of 7x up into 6x and 1x because of my factors of 1 and 6 that I think will work here. That creates a factorising in pairs that we can do. So that sets up a nice factorising here. We can take 2x as the biggest common thing out of the first two terms there. And we ask ourselves, what are we going to multiply 2x by to get 2x squared? We'd need an x in the bracket. What have we got to multiply 2x by to get that 6x? We'll need a 3 in the bracket. Then for the second part, we'll have only a common of plus 1 that we can take out of the last two terms, the third and the fourth term there. But that creates an x plus 3 bracket. When we ask what are we going to multiply 1 by to get x, we put an x in the bracket. What are we going to multiply 1 by to get 3? We put a 3 in the bracket. Because what we want is those two brackets being identical to each other, because that gives us a rule when that situation is occurring, where our front 2x and our plus 1, they can join up in their own bracket and then just have one listing of the x plus 3. I'm hoping you've seen some of them before, but if not, you'll be seeing some of them when you get to factorize what we call non-monic quadratic expressions. Now to double check on this one, we will expand it quickly. We'll split that middle term, that's the first bracket, and we'll have 2x outside of x plus 3 plus 1 outside of x plus 3. We'll go through this fairly quickly to double check. 2x times x makes 2x squared. 2x times 6 makes 6x. 1 lot of x is x. 1 lot of 3 is 3. We can join that middle, those middle x terms to make 7x plus 3. So a quick double check of expanding there. We get back to the question. Question 7. Factorize 6x squared minus 7x minus 3. Two numbers that we're looking for will add together to give minus 7 and multiply together to give minus 18. Because there's a 6 out the front there, we need to multiply that front 6 by that final minus 3 to get the number we need to have the two numbers multiply to give. So our product is going to be created by 6 times minus 3 there, the front number by the last number. So we'll have a product of minus 18 that we're looking for and a sum of minus 7. Let's have a look at the factors of 18 that have got something to do with 7. We've got 1 and 18, and 2 and 9 look like they'll be able to create 7. So what we'll do is we'll set up a splitting the middle term situation. We're going to split that minus 7x into a 2x and a 9x to create those two numbers, sort of merge them in so we can factorize in pairs. So we'll split that middle term. Now I think the 2 goes nicer. Well, no, I think the 9 will go nicer with the 6x squared. It doesn't really matter about the order, but you can make it convenient for your brain by picking natural numbers there. So let's split we'll split the minus 7x into minus 9x plus 2x to create the right result there. And so we'll factorize in pairs. We'll factorize the first pair out. The common factor was 3x, but that goes into 6x squared and minus 9x. What have we got to multiply 3x by to get 6x squared? We need a 2x in the bracket. What have we got to multiply 3x by to get minus 9x? We'll need a minus 3 in the bracket. And 1 just comes out of 2x minus 3. That's the biggest common term there. So we're allowed to join the 3x and the plus 1 into one bracket and have a listing of the 2x minus 3 for the second bracket. Fairly complicated, but get some more practice on those if you're not sure. We'll just quickly double check by expanding. We'll split that first bracket up so we can create 3x multiplied by 2x minus 3 plus 1 outside of 2x minus 3. If we expand that, 3x times 2x is 6x squared. 3x times minus 3 is minus 9x. 1 times 2x is 2x, and 1 times minus 3 is minus 3. If we join the like terms, collected the like terms there, we got minus 9x plus 2x on the number line. That makes minus 7x minus 3, which was our original question. Question 8. Simplify by factorising 2x plus 4 all over 3x plus 6. We'll factorise first here. The number that's common in 2x plus 4 is 2. So we ask ourselves, what are we going to multiply 2 by to get 2x? We'll need an x. What have we got to multiply 2 by to get 4? We'll need a 2. For the second line there, what's common between 3x and 6? Well, 3 is. We ask, what have we got to multiply 3 by to get back to 3x? We'll need an x in the bracket. What have we got to multiply 3 by to get 6? We'll need a 2. Now you'll notice there that we've got a bracket that's the same on the top and the bottom, so we're allowed to divide things into the top and bottom. So if we divide x plus 2 into the top, it goes once, and into the bottom it goes once. So we'll just be left with 2 times 1 on the top and 3 times 1 on the bottom, and we can just simplify that to be 2/3 in the end. Question 9. Simplify by first factorising 3x minus 18 all over x squared minus 36. So we say what's common in the top there. I think you'll see that 3 goes into both 3x and minus 18. We ask, what have we got to multiply 3 by to get 3x? We'll need an x. What have we got to multiply 3 by to get minus 18? We'll need a minus 6 in that bracket at the top. Now, factorising the bottom part of our fraction here, we've got x squared minus 36. It doesn't look like any numbers are common, and there's certainly no x's in both of them anyway. So that's got to be a bit of a shortcut. We've got a difference of 2 squareds scenario here, which says that if you can express 2 items as one thing squared minus another thing squared, it can fit into a factorised version where you've got the 2 terms in one bracket and the 2 terms in the second bracket. One of the brackets has got a minus in it and one of them's got a plus in it. So here we can express x squared minus 36 as x squared minus 6 squared. That allows us to spread out the factorising there with our first term as x and our second term in the brackets as 6. So by doing that quick adjustment into 2 squareds, we can fit into the difference of 2 squareds pattern. So we'll have one bracket with x minus 6 in it and another bracket with x plus 6 in it. So that's a fancy shortcut that you may be familiar with. If not, get some practice. So we can put that on the bottom there, which is pretty handy because we've got a bracket that's the same. As you can see, we can divide the top by x minus 6 and get once, goes once, and into the bottom it goes once, kind of effectively cancelling those out. It's good to put those little ones in though, that makes a difference in some questions. So on the top we've got 3 times 1, and on the bottom we've got the x plus 6 times 1. So 3 over x plus 6. Question 10. Simplify by first factorising. We've got 2 fractions here that are multiplying with each other. The first fraction is 3m minus 6 all over 4. And the second fraction that's multiplying by that is 8m all over m squared minus 2m. Let's start by factorising. What's common between 3m and minus 6? I think we can take a 3 out. What have we got to multiply 3 by to get 3m? We'll need an m in the bracket. What have we got to multiply 3 by to get minus 6? We'll need a minus 2 in the bracket. And that's over 4. We've got an 8m on the top. And to factorise the bottom of the right-hand bracket there, what's common between m squared and minus 2m? I think you might be able to spot that an m can come out as common. We'll ask what are we going to multiply that front m by to get m squared? We'll need another m, because m times m is m squared. What are we going to multiply m by to get minus 2m? We'll need a minus 2 in the bracket there. Now to start simplifying here, we've done a lot of factorising. Let's see what we can divide into the top and bottom. And it can go from we can divide things into the bottom of one fraction and into the top of a different fraction if they're multiplying together. So here we can, let's have a look at the brackets. m minus 2 can divide into the top of that left hand side and go once, and in the bottom of the right hand side and go once. We've also got a 4 that can divide into the bottom once and into that 8 twice. We've also got an m that can divide into the bottom once and into the top once, so lots of cancelling there. We'll put the little ones in because that makes a difference in some questions. So on the top you can see that we've got 3 times 1 times 1 times 2, so that's probably a 6 on the top, and on the bottom we've just got 1 times 1 times 1, so we might not need to write that bottom in. So we've got really 6 over 1, but we're just simplifying that for our answer of 6. We had 3 times 2 times 1 times 1 on the top, creating that 6. So lots of factorising, and then we see what we can divide into the top and bottom.